All right, so this is Perms and Comms year-end review notes. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just a situation where you're selecting a bunch of different things. So to do this, if you're just selecting different items, all you got to do is multiply the 5 shirts by the 3 pants by the 8 hats. And if you multiply those, you get 120 ways. A certain country has peculiar rules for its license plate. Each license plate has 5 characters, so that tells us that we're going to have 5 spots. So 3, 4, 5. The first 3 must be letters, okay, such that the first and third are vowels, and the second letter is a consonant, and the next characters must be even digits that cannot be the same. So even and even. So one thing to go over is the vowels A, E, I, O, and U. We're not going to include Y in this. And the consonants will be every other thing. So if there's 5 vowels, that means that there's 21 consonants. Okay? And then the even numbers, you're going to have 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. All right. So vowels, the first 2 must be letters. Okay. So it doesn't say anything about the vowels being repeated or not. So it's just going to be 5 and 5 in those spots. And then it's going to be 21 for the consonants. And then the even, for the first choice of even, you have 5 choices. So you can put a 5 there. Now you can't repeat, so depending on which one you pick, you only have 4 left to choose from. So if you multiply all those numbers together, you're going to get 10,500 ways to make that license plate. A card is drawn from a standard deck and 1 die is tossed. So one thing that there's 52 cards and there's 6 outcomes on a dice. So all you do is multiply 52 times 6, and that's going to be 312. How many even 5-digit whole numbers begin with a 3 or a 4? So it's 5 digits, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and begin with a 3 or a 4. So that means you have 2 choices, and then every choice after that you've got 10, because it doesn't say anything about repetition. The last one, it has to be even. So in the last spot, we only have 5 choices, 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So multiplying all those together, you get 10,000 ways. How many words of any length can be made from the letters in the word Kaylee? All right, well, there's 5 choices. So any length. So you have 5 choices times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. That's going to be the 5-letter ones. So that comes out to 3, 1, 2, 5. And then following the same pattern, maybe you could have this is a 5-letter word, and then 4-letter words. You're going to have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and you're going to get a number. And then 3-letter words, 5 times 5 times 5. You're going to get a number. 2-letter words, 5 times 5. That one's 25. And a 1-letter word would be 5. So then you would go and add up all those numbers. And I'll let you do that one. Simplify this. So remembering that the factorial means that this pattern is going to be n plus 2 is the first thing, and then you just subtract 1 each time. So then it's going to be n plus 1, and then n minus 1, etc. And on the bottom, we're starting at n minus 1 and continuing the pattern. So everything after n minus 1 will simplify. So you're going to be left with n times n plus 2, n plus 1, and then that becomes n times n squared plus 3n plus 2, which is n cubed plus 3n squared plus 2n is your final answer. This one's asking you to solve it, so we're going to have to dip into our factoring skills a little bit. The first thing is to simplify this expression. So 9 plus 5 factorial means you start with 9 plus 5. The next one's going to be 9 plus 4. You subtract 1. And then 9 plus 3, 9 plus 2, 9, n plus 1, n all the way down. And on the bottom, you're starting at n plus 3, and then going to n plus 2, n plus 1, and hopefully you can see that all those are going to simplify. So you're going to be left with n plus 5, n plus 4. and that's going to equal 56. So we actually have to expand, collect all the like terms, and then factor again. So this becomes n squared plus 9n plus 20 equals 56. And then bringing the 56 over, we get n squared. Let's go back to my purple. We get n squared plus 9n minus 36 equals 0. And if you factor that, you're going to get back to n plus 12 and n minus 3. So your two solutions are n equals negative 12 and n equals 3. Now we do have to go back and think about this. And if you put negative 12 in here, or sorry, negative 12 in there, you're going to end up with a negative factorial, which you can't do. So that one is eliminated, and n equals 3 is your only solution. Difference between a perm and a com. Perm order matters, and a combination order doesn't matter. Okay, so a permutation like 1 then 2 is different. 1 then 2 is the same as 2 then 1. So like if I pick a student first to win a really good prize and then a student second to win like an okay prize, that's different, right? You'd rather be first than second. But if it's the same prize and I'm just picking two names, then it doesn't matter. So determine the number of 5-letter arrangements or words that can be created using the letters in the word school. So there's 6 letters, but there's 2 repeats. So what you're going to do is 6 factorial over 2 factorial. And if you work that out, you get 360. Jane wants to play 3 of her favorite 8 games so that each game is played once. And how many different orders can she play the 8 games? So you have 3 choices. For the first choice, you've got 8 games to pick from. The second one, you've only got 7 because you can't repeat. And the third one, you've only got 6. So that comes to 336. Or you could use 8p3 equals 336. How many different words can be made using all the letters in the word Red Deer? So we have 2 R's, we've got 3 E's, and we've got 2 D's. And we have 7 letters in total. So it's going to be 7 factorial over 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 2 factorial. And that works out to 210. Vowels must be kept together in this case. So let's consider A and E as like one tile. So W's on one. So we can arrange these things 4 ways and then multiply by the 2 ways that we can arrange A and E. So you could have A then E or E then A. And that works out to 48 ways. How many different arrangements of 5 children seated in a row if Anne and Bob must not be grouped together? So this one's a not grouped together. So the total ways to arrange the 5 kids is 5 factorial. And the ways to keep A and B together is going to be 4 factorial, 2 factorial. So what we do is you do 5 factorial minus the ways that they are together, and you end up with 72 different ways. How many different poker hands of 5 cards have exactly 2 spades? So remembering that there's 13 of each suit, and then there's 52 cards total. So 2 spades, so 13C2, and then multiplied by 39C3. So we're choosing 2 from the spades, and then 3 from all the other cards. And this works out to be 712,842. All right, from a group of 6 men and 3 women, a committee of 5 is to be selected, 3 men, 2 women. So from the 6 men, you're choosing 3, and from the 3 women, you're choosing 2, and that works out to be 60. A theater company of 12 actors consists of 7 men and 5 women. Exactly 3 men, so 7C3 times 5C4 175. Okay. At least one man. So that means you could have 5 men, 4 men, 3 men, 2 men, but yeah, okay. So a group of 5 with at least one man. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all the situations minus the no men situation. Okay. So the number of ways of picking a committee is going to be 12C5, and we're going to subtract the only way that you can pick the 5 men, which is one way. So we get 791. At least 4 women. So you could have 4 women or 5 women. So let's do the 4 women situation. So it's going to be 5C4 times 7C2. And then we're going to add that to 5C5 plus 7C1. So in total, this works out to 105 plus 7, which is 112 ways. In a group of 9 people, each person shakes hands with every other person once. How many handshakes occur in total? So really what you're doing is from the 9 people, you're making combinations of 2. So 9C2 gives us 36. 9 points on a circumference of a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many triangles can be formed by connecting any of the points? So again, you're having 9 points and you're choosing 3 of them. So there's 84 different triangles. 10 swimmers, 1 will win gold, 1 bronze, 1 silver. How many different medal arrangements? So there's 3 medals, 10 choices for the first, 9 choices for the second, 8 choices for the third, so 720. And the last way is the pathway questions. So the pathway questions count up how many ways you're going to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then down 3. So there's 9 steps in total, but then we're going to divide by the repeats for the first section. Now here you can either go that way or you can go that way. So there's 2 ways to do the second section, and then 3 and 1. So there's 4 factorial total ways divided by 3 factorial repeats. So in total, this is going to be 84 times 2 times 4, which gives me 672.